Imagine a nation standing alone on the very edge of oblivion. The year is 1940. Across a narrow stretch of water, a seemingly unstoppable force gathers, poised to invade. The world watches, holding its breath, convinced that the last bastion of freedom in Europe is about to fall. This wasn't just a war. It was an existential threat, a darkness that promised to extinguish the light of liberty. And in that desperate hour, when the very air seemed to hum with dread, a single, elegant machine rose to meet the storm. It wasn't just an aircraft. It was a promise, a prayer, and ultimately, the salvation of a nation. This is the story of the Supermarine Spitfire, the plane that saved Britain from total destruction. Before the storm broke, Britain was a land of quiet resolve, but also of profound vulnerability. The horrors of the continent were unfolding with terrifying speed. France had fallen. The British Expeditionary Force had been miraculously evacuated from Dunkirk, leaving behind much of its equipment. And now, the Channel, once a protective moat, felt like a mere puddle, easily breached. People went about their lives, but beneath the surface, a deep anxiety simmered. They knew what was coming. They heard the chilling speeches from across the water, saw the newsreels depicting the relentless advance of the German war machine, and felt the certainty of impending conflict. What, they wondered, could possibly stand against the might of the Luftwaffe, an air force that had swept aside every air defense it encountered with brutal efficiency? The answer, unknown to many, was already taking shape in factories across the country, a testament to British ingenuity and foresight. It began not with a roar, but with the quiet, almost obsessive genius of a man named R.J. Mitchell. Mitchell was more than just an engineer. He was an artist of aerodynamics, a visionary whose singular focus was to create a fighter plane unlike any other. His vision culminated in the Spitfire, a machine of breathtaking beauty and lethal purpose. Sleek, graceful, with its distinctive elliptical wings that seemed to defy the very laws of physics, the Spitfire was born from an uncompromising pursuit of perfection. Every curve, every line, every rivet was meticulously designed for optimal aerodynamic efficiency. It was crafted for speed, for unparalleled agility, for the kind of aerial ballet that could outmaneuver any adversary. But beneath its elegant exterior lay a brutal, singular purpose: to kill. Yet even as the first prototypes took to the sky, doubts lingered. The Spitfire was undeniably complex, perhaps too complex for the rapid, mass production demanded by the looming war. Its contemporary and stablemate, the Hawker Hurricane, was simpler, more robust, and significantly easier to manufacture in large numbers. Many argued that the Hurricane, the sturdy workhorse of the Royal Air Force, was all Britain truly needed. It was a proven design, capable of absorbing punishment and delivering firepower. But a discerning few, those with a profound understanding of the nature of the coming fight, understood that brute force alone would not secure victory in the skies. The conflict would demand finesse, superior speed, and the ability to turn on a dime in a deadly aerial dance. These far-sighted individuals championed the Spitfire, recognizing that its inherent aerodynamic superiority, if successfully harnessed and mass-produced, could be the decisive factor in the aerial struggle to come. The race against time was relentless, a desperate sprint towards an unknown future. Engineers toiled around the clock, pushing the boundaries of design and manufacturing. Factory workers, driven by a profound sense of national duty, pushed themselves to exhaustion, transforming raw materials into precision instruments of war. Every rivet, every panel, every Merlin engine that rolled off the assembly line was a testament to a nation's desperate hope and unwavering resolve. Simultaneously, young men, many barely out of school, were rushed through accelerated training programs, learning to tame these magnificent yet deadly birds. They were just boys, really, some with only a handful of flying hours, but they were about to become the few, the legendary guardians of the sky, entrusted with the fate of a nation. Then, the summer of 1940 arrived, and with it, the full fury of the German war machine. The Battle of Britain began not with a single cataclysmic bang, but with the ominous, relentless drone of hundreds of enemy bombers and their fighter escorts filling the skies over the Channel. Wave after wave, they came, a seemingly endless aerial armada, targeting vital airfields, critical radar stations, and eventually the cities themselves. The stakes were unimaginably high, almost beyond comprehension. If the Luftwaffe could achieve air superiority, even for a few days. The planned German invasion, Operation Sea Lion, would follow swiftly, and Britain, isolated and vulnerable, would surely fall. In those terrifying days, under the relentless onslaught, the Supermarine Spitfire truly came alive, proving its worth in the crucible of combat. From scattered airfields across southern England, the Spitfires scrambled, their powerful Merlin engines roaring a defiant challenge that echoed across the landscape. These were not mere machines of war in the abstract. They were the desperate, tangible hope of millions. Pilots, some with only a handful of flying hours in combat, climbed into their cramped cockpits, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and adrenaline, their hands steady on the controls. They were facing seasoned Luftwaffe veterans, often outnumbered, but they possessed one crucial, undeniable advantage: the Spitfire itself. In the swirling, chaotic maelstrom of a dogfight, the Spitfire was a revelation, a master of aerial combat. Its iconic elliptical wings provided exceptional lift and remarkably low drag, granting it incredible maneuverability. It could turn tighter, climb faster, and dive with terrifying speed, allowing pilots to dictate the terms of engagement. A pilot in a Spitfire could outthink, outfly, and ultimately outfight almost anything the Luftwaffe threw at them, including the formidable Messerschmitt Bf 109. The sky became a vast, deadly canvas for a desperate ballet, a brutal struggle for survival, where split-second decisions meant the difference between life and death. The staccato crackle of machine gun fire, the acrid smell of cordite, the desperate cries over the radio from comrades in distress. This was the harrowing reality of their daily fight. Down below, on the ground, ordinary people huddled in makeshift shelters, their ears straining, listening to the distant thrum of engines, desperately trying to discern friend from foe. Every glint of silver in the sky, every trailing plume of smoke, held the fate of their world. When a Spitfire streaked past, its distinctive, powerful engine note a familiar comfort. A collective breath of hope was exhaled across the land. When a German bomber, crippled and trailing smoke, spiraled earthward, a spontaneous cheer would erupt, a momentary cathartic release from the suffocating fear that had become a constant companion. The Spitfire wasn't just fighting in the sky, it was fighting in the hearts and minds of every man, woman, and child below, a symbol of their resilience. The pilots, the legendary few, were pushed to their absolute physical and mental limits. They flew multiple sorties a day, sometimes 5 or 6, landing only briefly to refuel and rearm. Their faces streaked with oil and exhaustion, their eyes burning with a fierce, unyielding determination. They witnessed their friends fall from the sky, watched as their comrades' planes spiraled into the earth in fiery explosions. But they kept flying. They were the thin blue line, the fragile yet unbreakable shield that protected a nation from annihilation. And the Spitfire, their magnificent machine, was their sword, their instrument of defiance. Day after day, week after week, the battle raged with unrelenting ferocity. The losses were heavy on both sides, a grim tally of aircraft and lives. But slowly, painstakingly, the tide began to turn. The Luftwaffe, despite its numerical superiority and initial tactical advantages, could not break the spirit, nor the aerial superiority of the Royal Air Force. The Spitfire, with its unmatched performance in the crucial dogfights, combined with the incredible bravery and skill of its pilots, proved to be the decisive factor. It wasn't just a machine, it was a symbol of defiance, a powerful testament to British ingenuity, grit, and an unshakable will to resist. The German High Command, unable to achieve air superiority, was forced to postpone and eventually abandon its invasion plans. By late October 1940, the Battle of Britain was decisively won. The immediate threat of invasion receded, and a nation that had stood on the very brink of annihilation could finally breathe a collective sigh of relief. The Spitfire had not only defended its homeland with unparalleled effectiveness, it had given the entire free world a beacon of hope, proving that even against seemingly overwhelming odds, courage, innovation, and unwavering determination could indeed prevail. The Spitfire continued to serve with distinction throughout the remainder of the war, evolving and adapting to new threats and roles. Different marks, with increasingly powerful engines and improved armaments, took on new challenges, from high-altitude interception to ground attack and reconnaissance. But its legend, its indelible place in history, was forged in those desperate summer skies of 1940. It became more than just an aircraft. It transformed into an icon, a potent symbol of freedom, resilience, and the indomitable human spirit. It represented the moment a nation refused to yield, when a few brave souls, flying a magnificent machine, changed the course of history itself. Even today, the sight of a Spitfire soaring overhead, its distinctive, powerful Merlin engine note echoing through the air, evokes a profound sense of awe and gratitude. It serves as a powerful reminder that in the darkest hours, when all seems lost, there are always those who will rise to the challenge, who will fight for what is right, and who, with courage and ingenuity, can turn the tide of destiny. The Supermarine Spitfire didn't just win a battle, it saved a nation, and in doing so, it saved the very idea of freedom for generations to come.